Hey guys, this is Animedesu, and this is a recap of Konosuba Season 1. Kazuma Sato is a shy young man with a tendency to be a loner living in rural Japan. He spends most of his time watching anime and is also a huge fan of video games. One day, he decides to leave his house to buy a coveted video game. After purchasing the precious game, he rushes home, ready to play for days on end. However, on the way, Kazuma notices a girl about to be hit by a truck. Realizing she is in danger, Kazuma rushes to save her and pushes her out of the way, but after saving the girl, he falls into the path of the truck and dies heroically. Arriving in Limbo or the afterlife, he meets the goddess Aqua. Aqua has the appearance of a beautiful young girl with a laid-back and cheerful personality, and she is also the goddess responsible for deciding the fate of people after they die. Kazuma feels unique because at least he managed to save the girl's life before he died. But to his surprise, Aqua mocks him for his ridiculous death. He wasn't killed by a truck while trying to save someone, but by the shock of thinking the truck would hit him. Worse yet, Aqua also tells him it wasn't a truck that was about to hit the girl, but a simple tractor that most likely would have stopped before hitting her. Kazuma feels embarrassed, but Aqua, besides just mocking him, also offers several options to start a new life. The first is to reincarnate as someone else and start from scratch. She also offers something known as eternal rest, an option even she finds boring. Finally, Aqua offers Kazuma the chance to start his life in a new RPG-style world in Belzerg. There, Kazuma will have the mission to defeat the Demon King and bring peace to the world. In this scenario, Aqua also offers a magical ability or weapon of choice that would allow Kazuma to face the world with ease. However, to Aqua's surprise, Kazuma accepts and decides to bring Aqua with him on this journey.
どうでもいいから早くして。
こいつ早く決めろってか。
そうそう。
持っていけるものだろう。じゃあ、あんた。
じゃあ魔法陣から出ないよ。今、なんて言ったの？
では今後のアクア様のお仕事を継ぎますので。カズマさんの希望は？
何これ？おかしいから！待って！
After Kazuma and Aqua arrive in Axel, a beginner's village, they decide to join the village guild to become adventurers. Unfortunately, since Kazuma lacks the necessary skills, he cannot become an adventurer. However, he has outstanding attributes in terms of luck and intelligence. On the other hand, Aqua, thanks to her abilities as a goddess, manages to become a priest, thus gaining special skills and healing abilities. Due to a lack of money, the two sleep in a stable. They decide to start with basic jobs to earn money, starting as construction workers, miners, and harvesters. Going out for drinks with their colleagues becomes their evening routine. They live like this for a few days until Kazuma realizes he didn't reincarnate in this world to work as a laborer. He came to have exciting adventures and defeat the mighty Demon King. So along with Aqua, he decides to start taking on main missions to level up and achieve his goal. They embark on their first mission to hunt down some giant frogs to earn money and improve their attributes. Aqua attacks one of the frogs during the battle, although her attack is useless, and the frog ends up eating her. This at least creates a distraction for Kazuma to defeat them and save Aqua. After all the battles, Kazuma realizes that Aqua couldn't defeat a single frog during the entire mission. They both decide to put up a poster in the village tavern to recruit allies to join their team. At the end of the day, after a few hours, Kazuma thinks about lowering the requirements for joining his team when someone finally shows up before them. Megumin is an archmage with explosive magic, one of the most powerful types of magic. She is also a crimson demon, which gives her immense power and an edge for her type of magic. Kazuma accepts the archmage and together with Aqua, they return to their mission to hunt the giant frogs. Megumin uses her magical power and manages to create an explosion in the meadow where the frogs are, killing one of them. Although Megumin's magic is powerful, she cannot use it more than once a day as the explosive magic exhausts the user's entire energy in one attack. After casting one spell, the poor archmage lies on the ground unable to move. Kazuma completes the mission by hunting the frogs that had eaten his two companions, but he feels overwhelmed by the little help provided by the girls. Once the mission is completed, Kazuma distributes the mission reward money at the tavern when someone approaches because of the poster and asks to join his group. Darkness is a high-class paladin who is quite strong and noble, albeit with a somewhat clumsy demeanor. She tries to convince Kazuma to let her join the group, but Kazuma tries to refuse, feeling she won't be much help. His suspicions prove true when he realizes that Darkness, despite her unyielding stamina and fighting spirit, cannot hit her target with her sword. As such, Kazuma doesn't want her in the group and refuses her to avoid further trouble. However, the paladin is very stubborn and continues to try to convince Kazuma to accept her into his squad. Kazuma learns from Megumin that he can learn certain skills if someone teaches him, but it requires some points to learn those skills. Later, Darkness shows up with Chris, a girl with thieving skills, who is willing to teach Kazuma his first skill in exchange for beer. Chris teaches Kazuma the basic skills of a thief, and one of the most important, steal. This skill has the power to steal items from his opponent, Chris demonstrates steal to Kazuma by stealing the money he earned from his last mission. Kazuma can now add this skill to his repertoire thanks to the demonstration. After learning this new skill, he uses it on Chris to steal her underwear, so she has to pay back the stolen money to get it back. A few days later, there is a warning for all adventurers to gather at the village entrance as they are under attack. The guild offers a good amount of money to capture the attackers, and a group of heroes quickly gets to work. Darkness wants to prove to Kazuma that she can be a valuable team member during this mission. However, she can't do much due to her lack of sword skills. Nevertheless, others are impressed by her resilience when acting as a human shield to protect the other warriors. Finally, with the help of Aqua and Megumin, the team manages to protect Axel, earning them a lot of money as a reward. Kazuma learns another magical skill that low-level warriors can learn: create water, which involves throwing water from the palm of his hand. Kazuma and Megumin approach a castle on the outskirts of the village so she can practice her magic. Unfortunately, by using explosive magic, Megumin becomes paralyzed and needs Kazuma to help her back to the village, which greatly annoys Kazuma. However, they repeat this dynamic for several days.
あれは廃城でしょうか。あれにしましょう。赤き黒煙、天地の法を封印すると崩壊破壊の別名なりエクスプロー。
One evening, the village is on alert again due to the threat of one of the Demon King's envoys, Beldia. The warrior envoy has moved into the castle Megumin uses to practice her magic and is annoyed by the destructive effects of the spell on his new home. Megumin goes out to show her face, hoping they can defeat the warrior. However, Beldia tries to use one of his curses on Megumin, only for Darkness to step in the way, trying to protect her. Before leaving, he tells Megumin to beg for his forgiveness, or Darkness will die within a week. Despite Beldia's power and curse, Aqua manages to use her priest abilities and lift the curse from Darkness. The group of heroes continues to take on missions to improve their skills. A few days before Kazuma learns that Aqua has a debt and doesn't have enough money to pay it, he thinks up a plan and takes her on a mission so she can earn enough money to pay off all her debts. Arriving at the location, they find a lake they must purify, but the water is filled with dangerous crocodiles. Kazuma devises a plan to lock Aqua in a cage so she won't take damage from the crocodiles and throws her into the water. Thanks to Aqua's water goddess abilities, she clears the water, and the plan goes perfectly. After the mission, Aqua gets the money to pay off part of her debt. In the village, the group meets another human reincarnated into this world by Aqua. Mitsurugi has had a much easier life in the RPG world than Kazuma. He chose a holy relic weapon to defend himself. He shows special reverence for the goddess, even challenging Kazuma to a duel to protect her from Kazuma. Kazuma accepts the fight, with Mitsurugi easily defeating him using steel on his weapon and hitting him with it. Kazuma then sells the sword back to Mitsurugi at a high price to improve his capabilities. A week after the curse, Beldia returns because Megumin did not go to his castle to apologize. The envoy thought he had let Darkness die out of pride, unaware that Aqua had already lifted the curse. Beldia also claims that Megumin is still attacking his castle, which she has done with Aqua's help. Upset, the warrior decides to attack Axel with an army of undead. However, Megumin and Aqua have a strategy to attack him with explosive spells, successfully defeating his army and weakening him. Knowing that the envoy's weakness is water, Kazuma instructs Aqua to attack him directly. After injuring him further, Kazuma uses steel to steal his head, and Aqua casts the final spell to defeat him. After the battle, Aqua uses her abilities to revive the fallen warriors. The team celebrates the victory over the Demon King's envoy, feeling closer to achieving their goal of defeating him. After defeating Beldia, the group earns a lot of money. Unfortunately, this money doesn't last long because they destroy most of the city in the battle, which they must pay for as a consequence. They are back in significant debt. Winter is approaching, and the group has no place to stay, so they take on a mission that no one dares to accept. Initially, the heroes find the task easy. They first have to defeat the ice spirits inhabiting a nearby mountain. After a while, the team defeats many ghosts, but they soon discover why no one wants to take on the mission. Then, a great and powerful snow warrior appears to attack the heroes, successfully beheading Kazuma when he throws himself to protect Darkness from the warrior's attack.
土下座よ土下座をするなってカズマも早く
そこらに捨ててきたらしい。おいお前も早く頭を
騎士たる私がモンスターに頭を
いつもモンスターにほい
やめろ頭を無理やり下げさせられ
武器早く
Kazuma returns to Limbo after his death, where he meets the goddess Iris. She tells him that because he has suffered so much in this life and died trying to protect others, she can offer him a much better life than before, but it must be in his original world. He agrees but soon feels nostalgic for his adventures with his somewhat useless 3 friends. Although it is impossible to revive someone twice, Aqua intimidates Ares into allowing Kazuma to return to the RPG world. Kazuma feels somewhat regretful upon returning but is happy to be with his friends again. Since winter greatly impacts the group, Kazuma and Aqua decide to find skills that allow them to take on higher-level missions to earn more money. They go to Wiz, the undead queen. Wiz teaches Kazuma the ability to steal life energy from living creatures using Aqua as an example. They then learn that Wiz is one of the 9 leaders of the Demon King, but the heroes do not attack her because she only maintains the protective barrier at the Demon King's castle but does not pose a real threat. When they gather at Wiz's shop, the team gets the perfect opportunity to spend the winter. A client comes with a mission to exorcise ghosts from a house, and in return they can stay in the house until the end of winter. Since Aqua has a talent for exorcising spirits as a priest, the team doesn't hesitate and accepts the mission. Through some investigation, they find that the ghosts haunt the house thanks to Wiz summoning them from a nearby cemetery. Finally, Aqua seals the cemetery, and they successfully exorcise the ghosts. After completing the mission, they claim the reward and get the house to spend the winter. The heroes have everything: a place to stay, good food, and significant skill upgrades. However, this is only the calm before the storm, because a powerful threat is approaching the novice village. Not far from there, the Destroyer, a giant fortress walking across the kingdom's plains, is approaching Axel. The city is in a state of emergency, notifying all heroes and adventurers outside. Everyone sets up barricades and devises a plan to stop the Destroyer. As the Destroyer approaches, Aqua attacks it with her divine abilities to destroy the protective barrier around it. Once open, Megumin and Wiz launch a double attack with explosive magic, temporarily stopping it. However, the self-destruct mechanism inside the fortress will destroy Axel if not removed immediately. After the group of heroes enters the Destroyer, they realize that the only way to get rid of it is to transport it. However, the only one who can do this is Wiz, and she does not have enough magic after the explosive attack. Kazuma decides to give some of his energy to Wiz so she can cast the spell and save Axel. Before using her magic, Wiz warns Kazuma that it is uncertain where the self-destruct mechanism will appear. Thanks to his luck, Kazuma assures Wiz that he will take responsibility and nothing bad will happen. When Wiz transports the device, everything seems under control. However, the fortress starts to heat up uncontrollably, which could burn down the entire village if not stopped. Kazuma gives his remaining energy to Megumin so the Archmage can destroy the fortress once and for all.
妥協してここだ。
ちょい、もうちょいいけます。もう結構な量を吸われている。
おい、なんだよ。
火に覆われし漆黒よ。他はともかく今負けたくないのです。究極の破壊魔法エクセプラージャ。
After destroying the Destroyer, some knights from the capital arrive in Axel seeking Kazuma. He thinks it is to reward him for his heroism, but it turns out otherwise. The knights come to arrest him because the core of the fortress destroyed the home of one of the most influential people in all of Belzerg. With this, Kazuma and his group's adventures have just begun. And that's the summary of Konosuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World Season 1. If you enjoyed this summary, remember to hit the subscribe button, click the like button, and comment below to let me know what you think about this series. See you in the next video.